Good evening. This is, I think, the sixth week since the home rest. Yeah,
Stay at home
time. And again tonight we are very lucky because we can invite Danjo San, Suken Danjo, our Japanese monk friend from Hiroshima, who's these days inviting us, visiting us every Wednesday night. So welcome, Danjo San, and welcome everybody who's coming here tonight. And also welcome to Myoko, who is my very dear friend who's translating for Danjo San from Japanese into English. And you might not see her, but there's also Malenka lying down there and Lucy wanting to be part of it too. So what I noticed in this week is that it seems people's nerves are running thin. I found recently a very interesting article which came from Tammy Simon from Sounds True, where she interviews a psychiatrist, a woman, Van Susteren from Yale University, who said, right now we are in a time of emotional inflammation. And that is something I have just really seen a lot a bit in myself, a bit in my extended family, friends, and my clients. It just seems to be getting people to be so isolated in our houses. And when we go to the supermarket, the other day I was in the supermarket and it felt really weird. You know, people were looking at each other slightly suspicious and moving away from each other, which is really the right thing to do in this health crisis. But it's also sad, and it's also somewhat unnerving. And so I think whether we feel it as a health crisis, an economic crisis, whether we feel it socio-politically or environmentally or our whole world concerning, it's kind of sinking in as getting a little old. And also it just feels our nerves are running thin a little bit. Do you feel that? Yes, you know, it's like we are too long stuck in the houses with the people we are there, even though it's wonderful if we have somebody there. And if we don't have anybody there, then it's even harder. So either way, it's definitely a challenge, and it's a time for practice. And later on, Danjo San will tell us about how Buddhist practice can really help us to keep our emotional balance, and how we can keep a wider view about what this is really about, what our life is really about, and how can we see our situation right now from a wider perspective. And I can't wait to hear Danjo San's talk a little bit later. I wanted to start with the mindfulness of breathing meditation, but also with a bit of a compassion practice, because this is not easy. You know, this is really a hard practice time, you might say. And we need to have an open heart towards ourselves, so that we can also have an open heart towards others in our world. It's a very divisive world we are in right now. You know, if we just listen to the news, it's devices from top to bottom. And so it's hard to keep remembering that we are all interdependent, that we are all part of the human condition, that we are, you know, these vulnerable humans who are trying to make do and to live as graciously as we can. And so that's why I wanted to introduce this evening with a bit of mindfulness of breathing, settling into our bodies, breath, calming the mind so that the heart can open. And then also to do a little bit of a compassion practice, compassion for ourselves, for others, and our world. And then I will hand over to Danjo San. Let yourself settle into the sensations in your body. Let yourself feel your body. Does your body feel tight or loose? Maybe one part feels different from another. Do you feel energized, exhausted, or washed out, or somewhere in the middle? Do you feel in balance or slightly off kilter? Just be aware of it, kindly and compassionately. And notice whether there's tightness in your face and jaw, allowing face and jaw to relax. Notice your eyes softening and the space between your eyebrows opening up. Notice the area of your chest where your heart is. Breath brushing through ever so gently. Belly softening. Feel the exquisite sensation on the back of your body. Feel your seat solidly holding up your torso. Your spine strong. Your chest and heart vulnerable and receptive. Arms, legs, your whole body being filled with presence. Notice the space around you. The space within and around you. Fluid, alive, still. From this wider perspective, notice breath arising with the inhale, letting go with the exhale. Feeling every moment of breath arising, feeling every moment of breath falling, breath falling back into space for the next breath, drawing in naturally. And bring your attention to the sensation and movement of the rising breath, of the falling breath. Falling back into space, breath drawing back in naturally. And feel this breath very intently, very closely. Being the sensation and movement of breath with the same intensity you would try to smell a rose or a good cup of coffee. Feeling every instant of the rising breath, every instance of the falling breath. So there's only breath, sensation of breath, touching your body. Allowing your body to be breathed. Allowing your body to be breathed. Surrendering to breath breathing you. being very close and intimate with breath. Being body and breath now. And when there are distractions, thoughts, feelings, sounds, worries, just allow them to pass by like a leaf on a river going downstream. Always returning to your refuge, touch point, sensation and movement of breath as it is arising and falling away. And then feel the sensation of breath as it brushes through your heart. Notice whether there's maybe a softness or gentleness, a tightness or constriction, or maybe a bit of numbness or ache. Maybe a sense of rawness. And notice breath brushing through heart ever so gently. And in your mind's eye, hold an image of yourself as you experience yourself right now, these days. Maybe there's anxiety or confusion. Maybe a sense of uncertainty. Maybe a sense of worry for your health or your financial security. Just notice what moves your heart. And notice breath brushing through ever so gently. Think of your family, parents, children, people you love or like. And send them your well wishing and care. And see them with appreciation and support. With appreciation and support. And notice breath brushing through ever so gently. Then see people you are social distancing, people you stay away from now in your mind, in your imagination. Help them to feel safe. Help them to feel protected. In your imagination, support them. Delight in their being, even if you don't know them. Wish them to be safe and protected. Feel breath brushing through your body and heart. Bring to mind people in this pandemic, those close by, those far away, those alone and those with others, and even the most isolated and forgotten. Imagine that you wish them well. Reach out in your mind, especially to them. Wishing them protection, safety, to stay healthy. And in your imagination, show some interest in who they are. Wishing them comfort in difficult times. Bring to mind the entire world. And in this larger awareness, imagine wishing them well. All those people, animals, creatures, all sentient beings. Recognize all their suffering, difficulty, helplessness, and vulnerability. The entire suffering world, we are in this together. We are a sea of humanity, an interconnected web of life. And notice breath brushing through ever so gently. Now feel connected to everything. Everyone and everything is part of this field of awareness, this field of benevolence, this field of the sacred. Feel the vast, timeless, changeless aspect of field. Expand this field out in all directions, limitless, boundless. It is both real, the timeless, limitless, boundless, and the personal, particular. Both is there. Put the intention to sending out love and kindness, compassion to those who are most forgotten and unnoticed. And this compassion does not only come from your own sense of self, but from this greater field and your interdependence with it. Notice breath brushing through ever so gently. Imagine your loved ones, those near and dear ones. Feel with them in their worries. Inhale their worries and exhale your love and kindness. And those all these you know and don't know in this world. Inhale their worry, their difficulty. Exhale, send out your love, the love of the greater field, coming from the perspective of all our interdependence with this limited web of life. Now bring to mind the whole suffering humanity without preference and send out your compassion like the sun, sending out its warm energy, warm and light. Again, notice your heart, the sensation of breath brushing through ever so gently. And imagine your heart as the sun with limitless love and brilliance and warmth, brightness and caring. And with the inhale, take in this caring for yourself. And with the exhale, share it with the whole world. Share it with the whole world. share it with the whole world, the whole web of life that we are part of. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be healthy. And may all beings be protected and free. And may we become what we can become to allow this to happen. May the benefits of this world go out into the world and beyond. Now let's go over to Danjo San and Myoko San. Here. Let's focus.
はい。
お願いします。
皆さん、こんばんは。
Good evening, everyone.
おいしいお茶を飲んでますか？
Are you having a cup of tea, and delicious cup of tea?
おいしいお茶はおいしい人生になる。
Drinking a cup of tea, a delicious cup of tea leads you to the good life.
今日はレモンティーを私飲んでます。
I'm having a cup of lemon tea.
私たちの今感じてるお茶の味はこの首から上だけです。
So, tasting this cup of tea, it's only experiencing the head. It's above from my neck.
私たちの人間としての生き方をどうしてスピリチュアルという言葉があるんでしょう。
So, how can we live our humanity and to cultivate our spiritual beings?
そんな言葉はなくてもいいよ、そんなスピリチュアルなんていらないよという人もいると思います。
So, well, there'll be a people who say, I don't need a spirituality in my life, or I don't care, for what spiritual means. Some people
もうそんなもうわけわからないことよりもお金の方が大事でしょう。
So, well, I am more, I don't understand the spirituality, what means, but I'm interested in how to make a big money.
でも私たちにはもちろんビッグマニーも必要だと思いますし、
Of course, I'm not
スピリチュアルも必要だということを信じてほしいです。
saying the money is not important in our life, but I'm bringing up here how to make a balance that is cultivating a spiritual aspect of our life.
そうです。でもここにはお茶がありますけれど、ただお茶の中には味があるということです。
So I see here, you can see my cup of tea here, lemon tea. I taste it with my
とてもその
ability.
レモンの心がこの中に入っているということですね。
So what if that we are seeing heart? This is the flavor inside of lemon flavor, seeing heart there.
レモンの中のコンパッションを感じてみてください。
So it's a flavor. Lemon gives you flavor, pungent flavor. But the
グリ
feel,
ーンティーの中にあるコンパッションを感じてみてください。
so maybe someone having a cup of green tea. So when you sip a cup of tea, whatever you have,
もち
imagine
ろん
that heart, the center of heart, in kind of in the flavor.
もちろんアイスクリームの中にもコンパッションを感じてみてください。
So I am not saying only cup of tea, but maybe your favorite ice cream, and feel the compassion there when you taste it.
そして私たちの中にもコンパッションがあるんだということを感じてみてください。
So,
それはレモンと同じコンパッションです。
so here again, compassion, finding compassion, the flavor of lemon tea, finding compassion in a green tea, ice cream. And then feel inside of us, our body, feel compassion, flavor of compassion.
楽器の中にもとても音色のいい楽器があります。
So,
その反対にあまり音色の良くない楽器もあります。
so there's all sorts of musical instruments. There's a good, good sound, a good violin, like a Stradivari or whatever, or maybe not so sound. We know it.
私たちが見る目の世界ではとても美しい景色を見ることもできます。
So we can see from our physical eyes, and we can see beautiful scenes, beautiful mountains, and
でも
our
その
eyes have a capacity to it.
その逆もありますね。
So maybe that is an opposite. Can't see it. Your eyes are seeing something, but
香りもそうです。良い香りのものと
about
嫌な香りのものもありますね。
smell, sense of smell. We smell fragrance, like a rose or flowers, and maybe something feel bad that we sense it from our sense of smell, that we notice different type of.
いつも私は良いお香を焚いてます。このようにして。
I burn the incense every moment, every time, every morning, especially burning the incense.
で、例えば私たちの肌に感じるもの。
So what about our skin touching? We have a
これ
ability
も
to feel somebody's touching you, or some
とて
feel.
も優しい感じのタッチングと、とても痛みを引き起こすようなものもあります。
So here is the sense of touching, or sense of skin, the feel. There's a painful touching, or very comforting touching. There's all sorts of sense of
で、
touching skin.
私たちのこの味覚もそうです。美味しいお茶を感じるのは、
We'll come back to the flavor, tasting.
私たちのこの味覚の中にある
So
何かを感じているということです。
the sense of like we have tongues that buds that we sense different spices or salt, sour. We have ability to recognize what it is.
で、この中にあるどちらも目で見たり、耳で聞いたり、皮膚で触ったり、鼻で嗅いだりするものの中にもコンパッションがあります。
So here comes like a seeing something from our eyes, hearing something from our ears, smell something from our nose, tasting from our mouth, touching,
はい。
and they all have ability. There is a heart, eyes, there's a heart, ears, there's heart.
つまり、その中に私たちがスピリチュアリティを求める心というところが一つのアクションになると思います。
Here is the awareness of bringing up this heart within these five senses: seeing things, hearing things, smell, taste, touching. There's compassion that is cultivating the sensing, the high, cultivating to this experience of heart and compassion.
それはすべてお茶もそうですし、まあ、音楽もそうでしょうし、食べるものも香りもそうですけれど、全部自然からのギフトですね。
So all these things are connected with the nature. Listen to the sound of music or smell of roses or tasting the ice cream, delicious ice cream, or somebody gentle touching or kind touching.
私たちは自然から切り離すことはできません。
This nature that we are all connected. So this awareness of senses, that is we are all connected in nature. Eyes are seeing beautiful mountains, eyes are seeing kind of beautiful children, family, tasting delicious meal. It's all connected, interconnected.
すべての中にコンパッションが含まれているということも感じてみてください。
This is the things that here's you're holding an ice cream. Maybe it looks like only ice cream, or holding a cup of green tea or tea. This is I will invite you to feel the connection. This cup of green tea is no separation from me. Where I'm seeing the mountains here, there's no separation between me, I, and the mountain. Connected. We are connected. So bring that distance to closer to your compassionate heart, and connect
す
it
べての
to passionate.
この世にある楽器はすべて良い音を奏でることができます。
So the instruments, all the instruments played by somebody, and we hear the beautiful sound or beautiful music between player and maybe violin, or player, musician and piano.
一流の音楽家は楽器を選びません。
So the best musician, they don't choose the instruments, what the best, what is not the best.
すべての楽器の中にあるコンパッションを引き出して素晴らしい音に変えることができます。
So the best musician, whatever they use, the musical instruments, they can turn it into the beautiful music, whatever the instruments are. So that's the best musician, to draw the ability of the instruments.
そう。私たちも実は音楽家と同じ働きを持っています。
So let me come back to ourselves. Us, I. We are the best musician. We
ど
don't
んな壊れた楽器でも直す力を持っています。
we don't choose that this is the best violin, or this is not so good, or this is broken. But the best musician can fix it, to draw the fantastic sound.
どうしてそれができるでしょうか？
How can we do that? How can
それはウィズダムです。
It is. How can we do this? It's a wisdom.
そのウィズダムはどこからやってくるのでしょう？
もう一度おっしゃってください。
その素晴らしい壊れた楽器でもきれいな音を引き出せるような音楽家になるためには自然とその知恵が降りてくる。どうしたらそういう知恵をいただくことができるでしょうかということですね。
So our practice here is, we are the best musician. Us, we, best musician. How can I draw the fantastic sound from best musical instruments to maybe broken one? To even a broken one can make a best sound. So that, how can we do this? How can I make a beautiful sound from broken part of this instrument? It's a wisdom coming, arise within us, to how to navigate our hands to fix the instruments and make a beautiful sound, because we are the best musician.
それは音楽家が非常に冷静高い生活を習慣を持つというところから始まります。
So, well, I kind of using this as an example of our practice I took as a musician. あと5分で
OK。
見てくださいね。So, the wisdom, もう一度おっしゃっていただけますか？ すみません。
冷静高い音楽家であればあるほど、壊れた楽器でも良い音に変えることができる。
Our practice as a best musician is our spiritual practice. That how to draw the everyday our practice can possible to create the beautiful sound of from the broken instruments. We all have.
私たち自身がスピリチュアリティな生活をしようとすればするほど、
kind of a choice that we make that is, I would like to practice, cultivate the spiritual life. I would like to cultivate my meditation every day. This is a path of spiritual. We're still ongoing cultivating this path with the wisdom and to make a beautiful sound from the broken instruments.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
Yeah.
その最後に、皆さんにですね、この Wisdom、サンスクリット語ではプラギアパーラミタ、プラギアナと言います。ギアナですね。知恵の意味合いのお経を般若心経お唱えいたします。
There is the wisdom. This is a wisdom. And I want to chant Heart Sutra for you.
皆さんにすべての健康と幸せが届けられますようという祈りを込めてお唱えします。
For happiness and good health, wellness.
マコーニョラミタシンヨカンニザイボサヨジハンヤハラミタ一生剣豪音階空洞一切空薬シャリシアシケオイココイシケシケソゼククソクゼシケジョソヨシケヤクニョゼシャリシゼショクソウショウメツクジョうぞえんぜこくちゅむしきむじゅそうよしきむえんにみぜしんにむしきしょうこ二足を無限界内しむ意識界無無妙薬無無明人内し無老死薬老死無苦終滅を無知薬無得意無超特 弘法大サッタエハンニャアラミタコシンムケゲムケゲコ無垢安利一切天道無祖供養ね安産で小仏へ般若ハラミタ高徳阿のくたら三脈三毛大高知安若ハラミタ税大人衆税大名士税務上州税務東道州農場は一切苦真実公公説安若ハラミタ収束説修圧やてやてあらやてあらそうやてぼじすわかはんやしよがてやてパラがてパラさんがてぼですばほはい。
ありがとう
Hi.
ございました。
Thank you, Danjo
Oh,
San. This was beautiful.
yeah.
I really loved your image of the broken instrument. You know, in a way,
Yeah.
the human condition is a bit like the broken instrument that we are playing, and how practice allows us through wisdom and compassion to play this instrument better and play it not to destroy but to help others, help ourselves and others, and to remember the greater, wider context of life. Thank you so
Yes.
much for teaching.
Yes. Good smell, good tea, everything for spiritual life.
We're wondering if there is William, our tech support. Recently, we have to be a little bit more careful with our Zoom safety. So, how would we do it to allow people to ask questions? Would I unmute everybody?
Should all be unmuted now.
And I was wondering if anybody would like to ask a question. And maybe hi. You can also send no, you cannot. Send a
We have chat turned off right now.
Hi.
But you can mute everybody and someone can unmute themselves and ask a question.
People can. I can mute everybody, and then people can raise their hands.
Oh, you do that. Raise your hand if you like to ask a question. To ask a question on Zoom. I have a question for Danjo San.
Oh, yes, please.
Danjo San, is a nature connection one way to be present through the senses? And how do you do that?
自然、お分かりになりました？
はい。
自然の、自然とのコネクションですね。その
はい。
つながりですけれども、どういうふうにして自然とのその関わり、五感からつながりを持っていったらいいでしょうかって言ってます。自然とのつながりですね。私たちの五感を通して。
まあ、大切なのは私たちの心の感謝というところですね。
So the important thing is, the essential part here is gratitude.
Gratitude.
Gratitude is
そ
the
う。
connector.
ぜひ白い紙を出して、グライテュートを1回だけじゃなくて何回も書いてみてください。グライテュート、グライテュート、グライテュート。
So new piece of paper and write the gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. This is a connector to nature between us, us and the nature. So it's kind of an enhancer. The feeling of gratitude is an enhancing kind of fluid, like kind of glue to connect.
そう。その時は自然をイメージしながら、花や木やありとあらゆるそういう美しい景色も含めてイメージしながらグラティュートを書いていくことがすごく大切になります。
One of the exercise is imagine beautiful flowers or some your favorite images from nature. Then writing on a piece of paper, gratitude, 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 bring that image. Yeah.
Would it
考
also
えるんじゃなくて
would it
一体となるということです。
So
okay.
he said
Mhm.
Not thinking.
Yeah. Not
Not
thinking.
the thinking. This is not a thinking exercise. This is a feeling exercise.
それは一体という一つの意味がありますね。頭の中のイメージが本当にそれと一体となっているかどうか。
So that is the image we bring up while we are writing gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. It's a feeling connection that brings us the sense of oneness. For example, I'm imagining in the mountain Sierra or whatever, that imagining of this image of the mountain, writing gratitude, gratitude, I become one with Sierra. I am a mountain. Mountain is me. Kind of state or place that we can go.
私も2回死の体験がありますけれども、
So some of you know about me that I had near-death experience in my life twice, lifetime.
でもその死の瞬間の時に、なんて僕は素晴らしいこの地球自然の中で生かされてたんだろうというその感覚が蘇ったことがあります。
So this near-death that almost crossing the line, the threshold. There was a feeling that is such a beautiful world that I'm living in. When I came back, beautiful nature, and the air is so delicious. The air is so delicious.
それは多分地球人類みんな亡くなる時は同じ多分感覚になるんだろうと思いますね。
Our spiritual practice is not to wait that the moment of crossing this line, but experience cultivating this experience right now while we're living. Experience this right now, today.
そう。まあ、この生きてる間、今一瞬一瞬の中に私たちが自然とつながる心を持つ。そのコネクションの意識は感謝ですね。
So it's a connector, gratitude. Feeling of gratitude is as work as a connector, kind of calling each other, that is to bring nature and ourselves more closer and closer and closer. That is a gratitude. It's a moment to moment. Not all the time, but the moment to moment that bringing up the sense of gratitude.
こうやって争わないことです。感謝するというのはこういうことです。
I know that, but it's cultivating the gratitude.
いつも感謝しているこっち側の手のひらは痛みを感じることができません。こういう状態ではお互いに痛みを感じてしまいます。
Hands both are, banging each other, but when I open hands, the gratitude is like a, open hand is like a gratitude. Don't feel any pain, no matter how banging, but open hand. And eventually wrap around.
Thank
だから、Yeah, thank you.
For me,
ありがとうございます。
from arigato. Gratitude is like opening my heart and seeing the glass half full than half empty. I feel if I open my heart and I see the glass more half full than half empty, then I can deal better with whatever is happening.
Yeah.
グラスの中にね、半分しか入ってないと見るか、半分しか入ってないお水でもフルっていうか、十分であるという。
はい。はい。Yes。
そ
の通りです。
Yeah, is that right?
And for me, the best moments is in the mornings in my garden when I sit and meditate, or I just have my eyes open and look at the hummingbirds. That is for me a moment of gratitude. And when I come later in and I look at the headlines of the news, I have like a container I can hold that in.
Shall I translate to him?
Well, thank you all so much. And we will still learn to communicate even over Zoom. I think we'll try to get the chat room back. I think with all our safety attempts, somehow the chat room got eliminated, but we will try to have it back next time. And Danjo San and Myoko, will you be with us next week? Yeah?
Yes.
Good.
来週またよろしくお願いしますね。
はい。ぜひ、I love you マントラを唱えていってください。
So I encourage you, I love you mantra. Encourage you to.
Thank you for being with us from Japan, and I think there are a few other Japanese visitors. So
日本からも参加されている方いらっしゃいますよね。
はい、はい。
ありがとうございます。
はい。
はい。
どうも。じゃあ皆さん、See you next week.
See you next week. ありがとう。
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 And if you like to unmute yourself and say good night, you can, but as you like.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Denise.
Bye, everybody.
ありがとうございました。
はい。
ありがとうございました。
Oh,
ありがとうござい
Thank you.
え
Thank you.
ー千秋さんありがとうございました。
はい、ありがとうございました。どうも、ありがとうございました。
日本はこんな感じです。
あはは。
嬉しい。嬉しい。
Beautiful.
またお会いしましょ
あ
はい
りがと。うございます。
う。またお会いしましょう。
じゃあね。バイ
あ
バイ。
りがとうございます。
Everything's okay.